He clearly doesn't want her. He doesn't have to.
But he didn't say that. He did. When I asked her, you open and do you want to get to know me? You said yes.
Please, Billykiss, you're just like...
What do you mean, please,
Is this like your 5 minutes of TV or what? I don't understand why you're still going on. Like,
y'all love that line. Get out of here. We're all
5
on
minutes
TV.
of what?
I am side-eyeing Meg and Dejon for quite a number of reasons, actually. Because with friends like them who needs enemies, the audacity for them to speak to Billykiss that way, I didn't like that. Because when you had Yasmin and Tony speaking about the threesome, Meg didn't have as much vim for them. And yet she's had a lot of smoke for Malaysia. She's had a lot of smoke for... Billykiss. And the question is, what is the difference between between the four ladies? What is the difference between Tony, Yasmin, and Malaysia and Billykiss? So I am side-eyeing her, and I'm also side-eyeing Dejon for standing there and allowing her to speak like that, and then telling her that, oh, thank you for backing me up. Why? Why would Dejon feel so comfortable to say to someone, you're after your 5 minutes of fame? Seriously, the audacity when you are on TV showing your backside, I don't get it. And also Harry and Helena. The very first comment I made when Helena stole Harry from Shakira was, you lose them how you get them. And she's come back again for a second round. And this time it's going to be even more embarrassing the way he's going to disrespect her. And I can't wait for that. Anyway, hey there. Thanks for stopping by. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Love Island UK, Season 12, Episode 25. So Lima's gone and the mood is low in the villa because it seems like she was the life of the party. Though we as viewers didn't get to see the life nor the party in Lima because for some reasons production didn't want to show us Lima until she left the villa. You have the girls sitting down. So you have Tony, Shakira, and Yasmin. Yasmin was crying. Yes, GPT showed that she was human because she actually shed tears for Lima and she couldn't stop herself. She said she was trying to be in control, but she couldn't. So the girls are saying they're going to miss her, and also the fact that you never know when your last day is because things could easily turn around. The boys are at the fire pit, everybody bar Harry. Well, Harry's there, bar Dejon. And they're sort of saying that, we will really miss Lima. And so Ben is saying, she had a big heart. He was exploring a romantic connection with her. Now that she's gone, he'll have to start right from the start. I was like, the only way he can start is if he waits for a bombshell, because none of the girls in the villa is going to be open to exploring anything with him. Connor reveals that he's gutted, that Alima's gone home, but he had to do what was in his best interest because he wanted a romantic connection. And I think had he known that she might be going home, he'd still have been very conflicted because you can't send someone you like home just because you want to save a friend. So it was a no-win situation. Harrison is saying, this is a second chance for him because Tony didn't stand up for the other guy. So her not standing up could be a signal to him that she's still open to them exploring their connection. And it's like he's only saying that because he's realized that, if he doesn't secure Tony, then there's a high chance that, this woman, regardless of what he's doing with her, she won't pick him. Anyway, you have Connor go for a chat with Billykiss, and he seems excited. He seems more vocal. He seems more lively, and he's saying to him, "I'm happy to be in a couple with you. You are my fifth partner." And so Billykiss says to him, "I hope fifth time does the charm." And I really liked your speech. It seemed very personal and very well thought out. And it was like, oh, that's the cutest thing ever. You have Dejon sort of having a conversation with Harry. I don't know whether it's gameplay or whether it's actual concern for his friend because it doesn't make sense. Dejon has been pushing for Harry to couple up with Helena. I in my mind, I want to believe that this is all Meg's doing because he doesn't want Meg to be left alone. Because if Helena can't secure a coupling, then she's likely going to go home, which means that the only other friend that Meg will have in the villa will be Emily. And I don't think they get along as much with Emily. And so for Dejon to say, Helena's a better option is like, for what? Better option for what? For you and Meg to win because people don't like Helena, or are you looking out for your friend's best interest? I don't know. It seems like, Harry's really set on Shakira and he's not open to sort of hearing that. you have Tony and Harrison go to the terrace. Well, Harrison pulls her for a chat, and he says he's happy to make a decision. He wants to be with Tony. And Tony says, what about Helena? Are you going to keep talking to her? And he says, no, I won't talk to her again. It's over with Helena. And Tony's like, I want you to tell her. You can't tell me. You need to tell her so that she knows. So they agree, and then I don't know whether he did that because he really cares about Tony, or whether he feels like he doesn't stand a chance with Helena, so he might as well secure Tony so he can stay in the villa for as long as possible. And then you have Harry's in the kitchen with everybody else. They're having a snack. And on the other side of the villa, well, on the day beds, you have Meg, Helena, and Dejon. And the audacity of this woman, my embarrassment has surpassed my embarrassment. I don't even know how to describe how I feel. Every time she opens her mouth, I want to just the ground to open up and swallow me whole. Because the audacity to sit there and say, I want to go to the hideaway with Harry. And she's saying, it's because my thing with Harrison is over. He's already made up with what? With Tony. And it's like, so do you want to go to the hideaway with him because you have a romantic connection, or do you want to go to the hideaway to secure an option for yourself? And Harry comes, he's called by Dejon, can you come here? And then they try and sort of corner him into say, oh, Helena wants to go to the hideaway with you. And he said, I can't. And she, I really like Shakira. And for the audacity of Helena to say, I can tell you really like her. Well, if you can tell you really like her, why are you bringing it up? Because you had them go for a chat, the two of them, and they sat there and they were having this conversation. What I liked was, before they went for the chat, Harry ran to the fire pit and told Shakira that I'm going to pull Helena for a chat. So he pulled her for a chat, sat down with her, and they're having this flirty conversation. And he's saying to her, I can't take you to the hideaway because I really like Shakira and I don't want to mess that up. And it's like, how many more times can this man reject this woman before she realizes that he's really not that into her? The guys at the mini fire pit are saying, there's a lot of sexual tension between Harry and Helena. It's more from Helena's side. She knows what to do to get a reaction from him. That's it. So for Tommy to say, the sexual... More from Helena's side. She's really trying her best. And so Harry says to her, the last word we heard him say was, I need to make a decision of what I want. Give me a day and then I'll decide. And so for everyone to get ready for bed, and Harry's talking to Harrison and it's like, she's asking me to go to the hideaway and I really like my connection with Shakira, so I don't want to go. In the meantime, you have Helena busy telling Megan that, he said we're going to end up together. I just need to give him a day. Did we miss something out? Did editing take anything out? What is going on there? And I don't know. I can't wait to see this Hot Mess Express end because my embarrassment has far surpassed how I feel about this woman. So in the morning, there is a conversation about Lima. It seems people are missing Lima, and they say, if she was here, she'd still be asleep. So it seems like she was not an early riser. They would struggle to wake up someone like me. Anyway, you have Harry have a conversation with Harrison to say we need to make breakfast for Tony and Shakira. And Harrison is like, why? And he said, well, you're in the doghouse, so you need to redeem yourself. So we need to make them breakfast. So they agree to go and make breakfast. You have the girls in the changing room. So you have the clique in the changing room. And Helena is saying that, we agreed that we're going to get back together. He said, I just need to give him a day. So I'm just going to give him a day and then we get back together. And it's like, that's not what he said. That's not what we heard. He said, give him a day to decide. You heard he said, give him a day to couple up with you. Which is it? I don't get it unless it was edited out. These girls must really hate Shakira with a passion. That's the impression that I get. That the clique, especially Megan and Helena, hate Shakira with a passion. My opinion is they hate her because all the guys really like her and they can't seem to get someone to like them. And so for Helena 2 days in a row to go back into Shakira's clothes and want to take another swimsuit, and you have Megan said, you can take it, it doesn't matter. And it's like, why do you hate this child? What has she done? It's not her fault that the guys don't like you. What do you want her to do? After all, we all heard Harry say, he's the one who refused to go to the hideaway. He said it was a terrible idea. He had just received a mouthful from Shakira for misbehaving and he didn't want to, do it again. So I don't understand their hatred for her. Anyway, the boys bring in coffees. After coffee, you then have Shakira and Tony go out for their breakfast. Dejon has also made breakfast for Meg because he says, he wants a date with Meg. She's the only person he wants to go on a date with. And it seems if production is not going to give him a date, then he's going to arrange one of his own. And it's like, if that makes you happy, Meg is over the moon. The girls are served their breakfast. Helena comes out in Shakira's swimsuit. It's so tiny. You can tell that it really must be cutting into her. And I don't get why she continues to put it on. She goes into the kitchen with the boys. She's trying to flirt with them. And it's like, leave them alone. You have the girls sort of just sitting, having their breakfast. You have Dejon and Megan having their breakfast. And it's like, what can she get? If she can respect Megan enough to leave Dejon alone, why can't she do the same for the other two girls? Why does she constantly feel the need to sort of try and take their guys away? She then joins Dejon and Meg, and she's talking about Harry said, give me a day. He wants a day to think about it, but I don't understand, why he's making Shakira breakfast. It's like, maybe because he likes her more than you. It's like, maybe he's telling you, leave me alone, and you keep pushing yourself up on him, keep trying to do every single thing you can to try and sort of win his affection. From there, she pulls Harrison for a chat. I think she realized that, having made breakfast, she was trying to make Harry jealous. So she decided to pull Harrison, trying to flirt and whatever, to see if she could get Harry's attention as she's been trying to do all along. They got to the fire pit and Harrison told her, I want to focus on Tony. You and me, we're done. And I don't think she expected that. And he said, I'm not going to pull you for chats. And she said, well, I'm not going to pull you as well. I was actually thinking of us coupling up. She knows how to try and lure a man to get her way, it seems. And this is what she was trying to do. But sadly, it didn't work. He said, I can talk to you in a group, but I can't have one-on-one with you. And it's like, yeah. Put her in a place. And so for her to stand up and give him one final hug, she's really trying. She's thirsty and none of the guys want her. And because she knows that there's only two people that were entertaining her, with Harrison having shut her off, now she's going to go full guns blazing for Harry, because she's got no other option. She goes back to the day bed. She's complaining bitterly that, Harrison doesn't have cojones, because if he did, he would have stayed with her, but he gave in and, he's now with Tony. And it's like, seriously. Make it make sense. Tony is speaking to Harrison. He's letting her know that, he's fully committed to her. He's told Helena they're over. And so this is where he wants to be. And it's like, wow, okay, good luck for you. You have Harry and Shakira at the pool. And Harry is saying, Shakira is it for him, irregardless of what anybody else says. She is it for him. He doesn't want to do anything with anybody else. And it's like, I hope Shakira finds out about the conversation at the fire pit. Why we get to watch Tommy and Emily, I don't know. They're the most boring couple in the villa, so I don't get why we get to watch them. Their conversation about, we're growing closer. Okay, if that's what they think. Anyway, Harry receives a message that goes, Islanders, it's time to embrace your inner Lois Lane, and Clark Kent as you take part in a very special Superman challenge. # couple superpowers, # look up. What do I think of that game? I like that game. I always like any game where people are not passing, something from one person's mouth to the other. Then I'm good, because at times some of the games can be very messy and very dirty. So I didn't mind that. Anyway, so the guys were dressed as Superman. The girls were dressed as Lois Lane, and they would fly across a platform, I assume, and then they would get to sort of reveal a card which would be red, and they would identify who they think sort of aligns with that card the most and who aligns with it the least. First up was Tommy and Emily. Their card said Superman is intellectual, and I'm not surprised by their choices. They chose Gio as the most intellectual, and they chose Ben as the least. Anyone surprised? No. Next up was Tony and Harrison. Their card said Superman is loyal. They chose Tommy as the most loyal and Harry as the least. Given how he's moved with Shakira, that makes sense. Next up was Dejon and Meg. Theirs was Superman is honest. They chose Gio for most honest and Harry for least honest. The thing was, Megan said he's telling both girls what they want to hear and he needs to make a choice. And it's like, he's already made a choice. He's saying it out loud, but you, your partner, and Helena refuse to listen to the truth. And so the audacity for you to say make a choice, it's not that you want him to make a choice. It's that you want him to make the choice that you want him to make. That's the issue. Next up was Connor and Billykiss. Superman is caring. They say Tommy because of the small acts of kindness or whatever he does to, to show he cares. And then least caring was Harrison because, it did make sense. She said because, it was Tony's birthday and you could have done a lot more than what you did, which, yeah, you have to give it to them because he didn't need the guys to help him write a note and he didn't need the guys to tell him to cook breakfast. So, hey. Harrison and Shakira, Superman is brave. They said the most is Connor because of the fact that he went after what he wanted. The least was Dejon because, he hasn't explored other connections. Dejon didn't like this because he felt he came in, he found his Meg, and that's who he's going to pay attention to. He doesn't want any of the other girls. And it's like, okay, if that's what you want. And then Ben and Helena, it was Superman is humble. They said Gio is the most humble. Least humble is Harrison because he's not being honest. And it's like, not being honest about what? Do you understand the meaning of humble? At the end of the day, he was honest. He chose the person he wanted. And because he didn't choose Helena, that's why they feel he's not being honest. Gio and Yasmin, Superman is dedicated. This one aggravated me. It really aggravated me. They said, most dedicated is Connor. He took a risk on love. And, he chose Billykiss, even though it meant that his friend went home. But he focused on the concept of the show Love Island. Dejon, he hasn't bothered to explore a connection with anyone. And then Dejon said, well, that's because I've already got a connection with Meg, so I don't need to explore with anyone else. Meg felt, Billykiss said, but that's not what you were saying when we went on our date. You said you wanted to get to know me. Even when they sat at the fire pit, he was saying he wanted to get to know her. So for him to insist that, no, I didn't say that, you're just after 5 minutes of fame. And the audacity of Meg to open her top and bottom lip and say he said he didn't want you. She didn't have that smoke when she was speaking to Tony and company, but suddenly she has a smoke for Billykiss. Make that make sense? And for Billykiss is right. Even the girls are right to say close things off. If you don't want anything to do with anyone else, close things off. That way you don't need to waste your other people's time because you're constantly being pulled for dates and yet, you're still open, saying you're still open. And then when you go on the dates, you give the girls what they want. When you come back to the villa, you're back to puppy mode and pretending like, you didn't do anything wrong. Make that make sense? Even Meg on her part was complaining bitterly that, he doesn't tell me what goes on the dates. So I agree with the girls. I am the girls on this one. You have the islanders come back to the villa. Emily's speaking to Helena, and Helena is asking why is Shakira shouting. And it's like, what do you think, Sherlock Holmes? What do you think? She is speaking to her guy. Her guy is telling her that you're closed off. He's closed things down with you and is ready to move on with her. And then you go and you insert yourself in that connection. You keep inserting yourself. And this is why they have issues. For Dejon to be sitting in the bedroom and saying, I don't care what the girls say. The girls are saying the truth. You're lying to them. For you to say, oh, I appreciate Meg because she stood by me and she defended me. She defended your nonsense. And I can't wait for Casa to come so that you can really show who you are when she's not there and she realizes that actually she played herself. The islanders pick up their drinks. You have the guys on the sun deck. You have Dejon, Harry, Tommy, and Gio. And so they're sort of asking Harry that what's going on? Why is Shakira upset? And he is saying, I need to make a choice. I need to make a decision. He's already made a decision. He said this in the game that he had made a decision. So the audacity to keep pushing him to make the decision that you want, I do not get. Shakira's at the fire pit. She's upset because she feels like, there's something that she's missing. She's talking to Tony. She's saying, I feel like I'm missing something. There's something going on that I don't know. And he is telling me that things are shut down. They are over. And yet people are saying, there's unfinished business. What is it? And I like that, Gio tried to make sense because he tried to tell him that you need to be mindful that if you keep playing games after this time, Shakira won't give you another chance. So whatever you're doing, know that whatever you do, there's consequences for your actions. And that's it. He knows it. Hopefully production bring in a guy for Shakira because she doesn't deserve this. She really doesn't. She can't continue to put up with this idiot. Yes, every guy that comes in wants her and this is aggravating people, but that's not his fault. And the day beds, you have Connor, Ben, and Harrison having a conversation. And Ben says, he was given the the least intellectual, and for him, he doesn't care. I think he's dyslexic. I'm just diagnosing. I normally don't like people diagnosing unless they know what they're saying, but that's the impression that I get, that I think he's dyslexic. Anyway, you have Connor say, he felt some type of way about the comment that, Billykiss made, because yes, people are entitled to give their opinions, but he didn't like how she went in and she told him to close things off because she's putting pressure. She's not putting pressure on him. He is the one who's telling everyone else he's closed off. So if he's going to say he's closed off, then he needs to do it. If he's saying, I'm only interested in my mic, shut it down. He knows he's waiting for Casa. He knows he's about to act a fool. This is why he's doing that. You have Dejon go and speak to Meg, and he's grateful that she stood by him. He tells her, you don't need to listen to the other girls. Don't listen to them. No, if they were to send Meg today, if they were to send her home, he would flip so quickly that everyone would be surprised. He would never live with Meg, even though he calls her my Meg. He would never live with her. He would just recouple with somebody else and continue to move as manic and mad as he has been. So the idea that people think this is real and he's got this strong connection, I'm not buying it. Poor Shakira was busy telling Tony that she doesn't understand. She feels like something is going on. So the girls are curious that what exactly is going on. They want to know exactly what's going on. After this conversation whereby you had Dejon trying to sort of convince Harry that he needs to go for Helena. Eventually, Harry pulls Helena for a chat. They go for a chat. That was all flirting. There's no substance to that conversation. Everyone is telling him that, Shakira is holding him down. She's sort of keeping him under her thumb and stuff. That's not it. I feel like people are jealous because they realize that with Shakira, he's a totally different person, and there is a possibility that he could actually win with Shakira. But with Helena, there's no chance because it seems like it's just a physical connection and that's it. So people are trying to push him to where they know that he's not a threat. So if he goes with Helena, that's all it's going to be. It's not going to be of substance, and that's the end of it. And so part of me wants them to go to the hideaway. Let them go and do whatever nonsense they want to do, because he actually had even Emily encouraging him that you and Helena need to sort out your issues. You need to make a decision. He's made a decision at the game and told you all that he's focused on the person he's incapable with. But everybody is pushing him because they know if he doesn't sort of move, he becomes a threat. So they want him to go, one, to save Helena, two, to be less of a threat, because they know that Helena, the way she's moving, there is a strong possibility the viewers might not like it. So I'm really sad, and it looks like he's about to make a decision to couple up with Helena. I don't know how that's going to play out. I love that Yasmin and Harrison came to the fire pit and were just trying to comfort Shakira. Shakira is better than this. She doesn't deserve this nonsense. She can keep it stepping, and she will find her person. She doesn't need to deal with this nonsense. I can't wait to see what happens today. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And click the link in my video to watch my review from episode 24. Bye guys.